Hello, everyone. My name is Molly Halsey, and I'm the event specialist here at Enterprise DB. I will be your host today for our webinar, Remote DBA and Cloud DBA Service. I'm joined by Jamie Watt, VP of Support Services, Kanchan Mohidi, Director of Cloud Services, and Dipanshu Sharma, Director of Support and Services here at Enterprise DB. Before we get started, I just want to go through a few housekeeping items. This presentation is being recorded. We will be sharing the recording along with the slides after the broadcast. The lines are currently muted. If you have a question, please feel free to submit it in the question panel. Today's session is scheduled for 1 hour. We expect the presentation to last most of our time today and will allot any extra time for Q&A. If we do not have time to address all questions, we will follow up afterwards on the landing page with the answers. Now, without further ado, we'll start the presentation. But before we get in, we have a quick poll to start today. The question is, how do you power your Postgres databases today? The options are, we're just getting started. We have /I am a DBA who handles our overall database SOL. We have /I am a DBA dedicated to our Postgres databases. We have a team of DBAs who are dedicated to Postgres, or we have a DBAS platform for Postgres. We'll give everyone some time to vote. Currently, we have about 40% of the audience voting, almost at 50% already. I'll give everyone another 5 seconds to get as many votes in as possible. We're almost at 60%, and I will show the results. All right, so we have 37% are saying that we have or I am a DBA who handles our overall database SOL. 24% saying we have /I am a DBA dedicated to our Postgres databases, but we have 0% saying we have a DBAS platform for Postgres. All right, we had 61% of the audience vote. Right now, we will hand it over to Kanchan.
Hold on.
If we could advance the slide, either Molly or Kanchan.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Can you make me the presenter again? Because I didn't get the show button, Molly.
No problem. We'll do one quick swap.
Bear with us just 1 second, folks.
All right, just sent the request over.
And I just clicked on show my screen, so.
Yeah, we're seeing the quick poll currently.
Yeah, because that's not what I'm sharing right now.
Sure.
Is your presentation up? Yeah. 1 second.
Apologies, folks. Seems like we've got a few gremlins in the machine today, but we'll get through it momentarily. Okay. Welcome to the Remote DBA and Cloud DBA webinar. This is the most recent in our webinar series, and we'll be walking through for all of you what we provide and how we can help solve some of the problems that you may face today as a Postgres DBA, as a leader in the IT space with the Postgres estate, or any flavors in between effectively. One thing to remind folks of is that we do also have a weekly session dedicated to really helping anyone in their Postgres efforts, wherever that effort may reside, in Postgres Pulse Insights. That is every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and has a hosting by Enterprise DB with a couple of the experts, Bruce Momjin, as well as Vibhor Kumar. So we encourage everyone to join us at our Monday sessions, and if there are ways that you can ask questions in between, let's get ahead. Okay. As I mentioned today, we are here to discuss Remote DBA as well as our Cloud DBA offering. It is a team service that we deliver around the clock, where we are monitoring and managing both on premises and in the cloud. This is a premium management, so it's not just monitoring to ensure that you do have things up and running, or that your application may be progressing, or your applications have access to the database. It's also taking action where the monitoring may evoke some sort of alert or threshold that requires some reaction to ensure stability and uptime. It is timely, it is affordable, and it's reliable. As I mentioned, we have a global team that is staffed in seat, in shift, 24 hours a day. There's no on-call model. There is no resource constraints. It is simply a team of world-class experts that is staffed to address your Postgres estate. Cloud DBA helps you to close the gap that you may have as you're going through your migration or your transformation into a cloud footprint. Many people are bringing their infrastructure to the cloud, and they may be doing so either on cloud compute or in the form of DBAS, but in either of those scenarios, EDB is here to help you deliver against the requirements and goals that you have for your business. Okay, can we jump into the agenda for today, please?
Thank you, Jamie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. So throughout the course of this webinar, we would be going through and laying some ground rules for why you need a Postgres partner, and what exactly EDB, via its virtue of Remote DBA Services and Cloud DBA Services, brings to the table in terms of the needs which might you have in handling your and running and maintaining your Postgres infrastructures. As we move along, we will try to answer the questions like what the services are all about, who needs it, and what does it deliver. And at the end of the call, we will also, at the end of the webinar, that is when we are done speaking, we will also try to answer some of the questions which you might have in your mind through the course of the webinar. So let's just start by addressing or acknowledging that Postgres is indeed becoming popular as the time has gone on. The industry needs have been changing. Everybody has been gravitating towards the adoption of the open source, and that is also migrating or penetrating down to the database sides. And PostgreSQL has emerged as one of the leaders, and it has been constantly rated in the top 5 relational database models which are available, and it has been rated highly by the DB engines, which is basically an authority who is collecting databases, pointing and rating databases as per their features and their adoption and usability in the user's infrastructure. So since we have been working with the PostgreSQL very closely, EDB has been leading this charge, and we have been taking Postgres to at the enterprise level. Next slide, please. So while in the course of designing the services which we are offering, we broadly decided to take a look at what exactly does an organization go through when it tries to move to an open source and in specific to a Postgres kind of environment. There are phases like adoption, development, deployment, maintenance. Say in adoption phase, you would be trying to create a consensus within your teams, doing advocacy to move to a new platform. You would be defining your projects, identifying the knowledge gaps, training your resources, identifying the partners who would help you get there, and also arranging experts, because who doesn't need experts? And once you have done that, you move on to developing and rolling out the application itself. This will go through the regular channels of your planning, effort estimation, designing, developing, packaging, so that the deployments do not get hampered in any fashions. And then you go about doing the deployment themselves. At that phase as well, you would like to look at what kind of systems do you need. Is it going to be underpowered, overpowered, have some kind of data around the transactions per second and stuff like that to determine whether you will have enough computing power to keep your machines and services running and performing optimally. But that is not where your job ends. You still have to maintain, you would be monitoring, you would be gathering the trends, you would be doing capacity planning, you would be constantly doing performance optimization, because as the size of the database grows, there would be performance gremlins which tend to creep up. You would also be required to constantly identify and resolve threads as they might come up.
And based off of what we saw in the polls, it seems as though we've got a fairly broad spectrum of folks that are in one or multiple of these phases. As we know, deployment can be something that is continuous, and you may be continually iterating between deployment and maintenance. So we want to make sure that we kind of outline how this can benefit you, irrespective of what stage you're at in your Postgres journey.
Thank you, Jamie and Dipanshu. To meet the challenges which organizations face, Enterprise DB had created the EDB Postgres Platform, which adds additional features, capabilities, and support around the PostgreSQL database. EDB Postgres Platform includes the database and the tool suites that come along with it. Database have two variants, Vanilla Postgres, and the second one is an EDB Advanced Server, which includes enterprise features, Oracle compatibility, performance, and security features. And tool suites includes tool for management, which basically takes care of the mission critical tools for infrastructure monitoring, tuning, high availability, disaster recovery. Integration suite allows you to build across multiple data sources, including traditional DBMS, Hadoop, NoSQL, and new data stores that come along. Migration suite has the tools that will make it easy to move your schema and data to the EDB Postgres platform. And most importantly, you get the technical support as well, who acts like a partner, give advisory anytime you are stuck, help you all the way through the journey, and help with bug fixes if needed as part of the subscription support. Next slide.
So subscriptions are a great way to get started. However, they do not cover all the bases. One of the key disadvantages which you might run into is that it is a reactive support. You still own the responsibility of identifying a problem and then reporting it to someone who in turn is going to turn around and help you out with a solution. You would be getting patches and bug fixes. You have access to experts, which is a 24/7, and also you get a 24/7 support model. You also get the tools when you go for subscriptions, but there are certain gaps which we as Enterprise DB recognize and are trying to fill up with the remote DBA services. What we intend to bring in is proactive support, not reactive support. Replace, or rather add our DBA expertise to that of your team and be constantly involved with you in order to make your environments much more stable. We would be doing environment reviews proactively. Optimization and upgrade are a part of the service itself. All the solutions or the deployments which you have would be monitored 24/7 by us. We would be doing the capacity planning and forecasting of the future needs which you have. As demonstrated by the concentric circles, which you can see, Postgres subscriptions and standard subscriptions are basically building on top of each other. The remote DBA and the cloud DBA services intend to encompass all the benefits of the subscription services and add all the proactive activities to give you a more complete and easy to use service environment to make your deployments work and work more smoother.
So while you can certainly find success with Postgres support or EDB standard offering or EDB enterprise, adding remote DBA and or cloud DBA to that overall relationship with EDB allows you to ensure a higher level of success.
Next slide.
So what exactly are we doing with remote DBA, right? The database subscriptions are good, as we have already established. Our DBA services provides access to PG experts at a cost-effective rate and eliminate the need of trainings for all your Postgres resources. Because remember, when you are in the subscription model, onus of reporting and recognizing of the problem still lies with the client. And that alone can be a big investment and a time-consuming thing, because it does take a lot of time to train a resource, to bring him to an expert level so that he can actually recognize and fix the problems on time. DBA Services has access to more than a decade of services. DBA Services has more than a decade of experience in delivering services to Fortune 500 companies to manage and maintain their infrastructure. And the one thing we definitely do is increase the uptimes and the availability of a database. This is a proactive model of the service where monitoring and maintenance are done simultaneously to avoid any outages while delivering performance.
So not only do our software subscriptions allow you to address a number of challenges that you may face as you're going through your Postgres journey, but when you're actually in the process of going through the phases that we had identified previously, where you're looking at whether it be the development phase or the adoption or maintenance, we really join against those services or join against those subscriptions with our services to allow you to accelerate and to fortify what it is you're doing in Postgres, such that you can focus on your application and your overall product that you are delivering to your customers rather than worrying about your Postgres estate.
So looking at how Remote DBA Service tries to fill the gap that organization faced during various stages from adoption to steady state, we would like to focus on the service details here. Remote DBA Services allows you to have a global team of certified Postgres DBA resources monitoring and working with you for your database operations 24/7. In-house resources are actually freed up and can work and focus on strategic initiatives that you and your company wants to focus on, thus allowing you to reduce the total management cost, and our DBA team would be more of an extension to the current staff. Our staff is based across the globe, so we can offer a true follow the sun support model at scale. The enterprise DB team includes leader in the Postgres community. We know Postgres in and out because we have contributed to the PostgreSQL every year since the community was founded and continue to do so actively today as well. Keeping aside the expertise part of it, Remote DBA Services give you the team who is very responsive and take full accountability of the task that's being done. We really strive very hard to maintain the defined SLOs. Round the clock assurance and thus peace of mind is always there with the Remote DBA team as your partner. Best practice technology procedures are heavily ingrained in our work style. Also, a technical lead is assigned to every Remote DBA account, which is a point of contact and a liaison between you and the team who manages and coordinates all the operational database activities that would be required. And due to all of this taken care by the Remote DBA team, the customer or you may choose not to expand on hiring Postgres expertise or spend on the training cost extensively. Next slide.
Speaking of Remote DBA services, what exactly do we do? We broadly do an assessment of your business needs and your applications. We review your deployments in view of the best practices developed with our experience of managing various workloads, and we put a plan in place of maintaining and managing your expectations. Everything that we do is with a single-minded approach of focusing on your needs of scalability, of high availability, and of good performance. Next slide.
So the service offers comprehensive and proactive database management, includes proactive intelligence that we give, maintenance activities, capacity planning, performance tuning, monitoring, These are all broader categories which are integral part of our day-to-day activities. Monitoring would cover both the OS as well as database monitoring. So be it CPU usage or memory usage, database uptime, max connection to databases, everything is being monitored. Long-running queries, bloat, replication lag, etc. would also be monitored. In addition, Postgres logs would be monitored. The frequency at which the log needs to be monitored can be set. And not only that, we also make sure all the configuration parameters or the configuration files are monitored. Maintenance activities, the team would suggest best practices around the database strategies, archive logging, cadence for actually vacuuming the database, the retention and other housekeeping items as well. Again, in addition to the maintenance task, there are other tasks that are done on regular cadence, such as backup validations that needs to be validated so that you have a clean backup which needs to be restored if need be. Performance tuning would cover the query optimization suggestions as well as the database optimization parameter tuning as well. Capacity planning will focus on the database growth, user growth, and how the system can be kept running optimally at speed. And last but not the least, the continuous monitoring and reporting on the ongoing environment, health, and activities that goes on the database gives you the proactive intelligence for your database at your fingertips all the time. Next slide, please.
What all does that account to? What we are trying to do as a remote DBA is to know what you want. We want to identify the issues which you might run into. We want to notify you in advance of what problems you might run into. We will fix the problems before they become blockers. And we are doing all of this while keeping the SLOs front and center. We work on every possible strategies to lower the risks of an outage. We follow all the best practices and adhere to your organization's security needs or compliances to ensure that the operations which are being performed and the activities which are getting delivered stay safe and secure without posing any threat to your databases or the information which you're working with. Next slide.
So ultimately, innovating into the open space shouldn't be a burden. It's something that should be powered by experts and global leaders in the Postgres space to help you achieve your goals.
With the increasing adoption of cloud computing, mainly to reduce the infrastructure cost, organizations of all sizes are making the move to the cloud platform. If your organization utilizes cloud instances or plan to move to cloud soon for cost efficiency, elastic capacity, and standardization, we would like to point out that cloud providers manage the basic database administration, but often lack the in-depth Postgres-specific expertise. Through our Cloud DBA service, we are bringing our experience, our skills, and our established service infrastructure that we are talking about now to you. This will provide you in-depth knowledge for a specific or an ongoing care required task. Will give you tuning guidance for your Postgres database in the cloud. Next slide, Molly. Next. While RDBA service is a great fit for an organization running Postgres database in a self-managed environment, be it bare metal or VMware, the next. Thank you. The Cloud DBA offering is for organizations who are using or planning to use Postgres in the public cloud. With this service, we will help you manage, monitor, and optimize your Postgres database in the cloud. Whether it is Postgres installed on a compute instance, like PostgreSQL installed on an EC2 instance in AWS parlance, or Postgres installed on an Azure VM, or be it part of a managed service like RDS Postgres or Azure PostgreSQL, Cloud DBA would be here for you to help. Next.
With Postgres running in the cloud, there are lots of advantages which come along with it. First of all, it is very IT-centric. The databases become a central resource. It is more or less self-serving for the developers. We are not spending much time running around to find a machine and have typical delays in setting up the environments. And it is quite beneficial for the organizations who are trying to look at developing a new or running their existing applications. The move can be quick. However, with the current offerings which are out there, when you go ahead and start looking for something which suits your needs the best, you get choices of machines, not database configurations. There is a need to tune those configurations to work the best for you to deliver performance with regards to the workloads which are specific to that application / OLTP or data store which you are having. So another big problem which we see, as was pointed out earlier, the lack of Postgres knowledge, which leads to that you do not get much support when it comes to tuning your queries to give you the results in the most optimal fashion. And it doesn't eliminate the need of your teams to understand Postgres. So your training needs to remain the same. Next slide.
So as I said, Team Cloud DBA has your back. These are, again, cloud certified Postgres experts. They would help you tune your deployments. They'll help you make strategy for the maintenance strategy, which are very specific to Postgres. There would be query tuning advisory, and you don't have to be a Postgres expert. We will take care of you. Next slide. Getting started with RDBA is very easy. We'll get together, know about your needs, goals, and objectives, create a channel of communication which is conducive to your needs, and then move on to create a secure infrastructure, which is obviously in compliance to your standards, and then get detailed insights into your architecture and business process. So getting started with the service is really easy. Yeah, go ahead, next slide. RDBA, thank you. RDBA service delivers around the clock assurance and gives you complete peace of mind. We want to make sure we are reachable at all times and from anywhere you prefer. You can log in into customer portal and open a case with us. You can directly send us an email, which would automatically open a ticket for the team. And for any urgent needs, just pick up the phone and call us anytime. Though it's our job to ensure you won't have to. Next slide, please.
And you'll also find, just on that prior slide, you'll also find that while you have access to our customer portal, any issues that arise from a monitoring event or other activities is actually the result of a ticket or a case, which we work through to address with your team to ensure overall operational stability.
Right.
Go ahead.
So with the current difficult economic situations, basically, it demands everyone to take a hard look at all possible areas of saving. Having remote DBA service will allow your company to accelerate your Postgres deployment, reduce the risk, drive faster growth, and most importantly, savings. Who doesn't like that? Next.
And that's both savings of time as well as spend. So as we've mentioned before, there are a lot of opportunities that we bring to the table in terms of value proposition. And we can talk through that here where we look at the direct savings as well as the indirect attributes of the service itself. Go ahead, Kanchan. So
as part of direct savings, basically, DBAs can contribute to the new project. So basically, we are freeing you from the operational task and allowing the extra time to put on the strategic initiatives. Database being handled by the RDBA team, the management upkeep is minimum. Monitoring and maintenance are covered at no additional tools are required, so no investment is needed on that side. Sanity of architecture basically is performed that would reduce the deployment type. So scaling can be really fast and easy. And not to mention about in addition, there are indirect savings, basically reduced downtimes and maintenance window obviously leads to higher uptimes, which leads to further savings. Longer your application function runs, basically you are in business for more. I mean, it's uptime basically that we are talking about here. And not to forget, this allows you to roll out the features at much faster rate. Next slide. And with all this, I mean, you don't have to take our word for the success and value that the Remote DBA service brings to the table. From the various regular surveys and the reviews we do in our customer base, here are our few named customers and organizations who are very happy with the decisions they have made going ahead with the RDBA service and are reaping the benefits of it. Here, as Adam Bunch, an engineering manager and system architect from Konica Minolta, points out, peace of mind is priceless, and that's what Remote DBA gives him. And he also vouches for the experience and expertise that Remote DBA service team brings to the table. This has actually allowed him to sleep well, at least from the database side of his operations. Next.
Here is a statement from another of our esteemed clients, Michelle D. Baker, who is a Linux administrator from the state of Indiana. He has been not only impressed by the services that we have offered, but one of the key things which he pointed out was that he is happy to be working with DBA and learning from the team as well. So we are not only a bunch of DBAs who come and do a job of maintaining your databases, giving you high uptimes. We become a part of a team. We help with increasing and leveraging the knowledge which you already have within your team, so that in future you can start building better applications. The DBAs which are working with us will certainly be given good amount of tools and knowledge to make useful contributions to your application design going forward.
So Jamie, it's all you.
Sorry guys, I was talking on mute. So as you guys have seen, of course, the Remote DBA service really helps you to drive forward and power your efforts where you're looking at your Postgres journey. The database itself covers a whole broad suite of opportunities, whether it be tools and innovation, where we're looking at failover capabilities, monitoring, replication, backup and recovery, or others, where we're looking at security and performance, where we're looking at groups or redaction or other features. Professional services, which we deliver globally, allow customers not just to obtain services such as Remote DBA and to obtain subscriptions, but to actually fully design, guide, and implement a transformation of any scale into a Postgres estate. Our contributions to Postgres have been mentioned prior. If you look at our overall team set that we've got for the community, we have more than a dozen folks that are actively contributing or part of the core team of the community. And all of this is backed by a 24/7 operation of both support as well as Remote DBA services to ensure that we are reacting to your issues as they come up within the support function, and within Remote DBA, we're actually actively trying to prevent those issues from arising in the first place, such that you can focus on your optimized environment and your continual success. To remind everybody, EDB is the only open source based RDBMS which is in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. For 7 years in a row, we've showed up on this Magic Quadrant. And if you look at the other players in the space, it is no small feat to have achieved this. And we continue to aim higher, faster, and stronger as we push more additional capability into our teams, into our products, and into the community. We have over 4,000 customers of all scales, whether we're looking at Global 250, F500, people within the government space, public, healthcare, IT, it runs the gamut. You can see some of our US customers here, some of the largest out there. Within EMEA and APJ and APAC, we have a number of other global scale customers who are partnering with us or direct customers of our capabilities to go through their Postgres journey as they continue to embed that in their solutions where they are on their overall open source trajectory. We have 337 of the Forbes Global 2000 in our customer list, and that's growing on a daily basis. Now, as I mentioned, we've got over a dozen individuals that are part of the open source committer and contribution team. We also have Bruce Momgen and Dave Page, who are two members of the 5 that exist globally on the core team for PostgreSQL. In addition, we have another 13 major contributors as well as other contributors to the Postgres projects and adjacent capabilities. These teams help to power the support that we bring you, both in the form of product as well as engagement on a daily basis. One thing we would like to note for everyone is a capability that we've put out there called Ask the Experts. This is not a charged service. The purpose of it is to provide reliable professional support for basic questions or more complex one-off questions with some of the world's most knowledgeable Postgres engineers. You can provide 3 questions specific to you or your organization, and we have engineers who will actually actively engage on those questions and help to answer you in whatever form that might be constituted. As I mentioned, we will be responding to you personally. You can send your requests to abmrequest@enterprisedb.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So we had a couple of questions come in. We have some time, so we'll jump right in. The first question that came through was, is Cloud DBA available on a Google Cloud platform?
Currently, Cloud DBA is available on a GCP compute capability, as it's simply just a matter of having access to Postgres on your own built or maintained compute on the GCP fabric. We are looking at capabilities such as Cloud SQL for future delivery, where we look at the second half of 2020.
All right, great. Another question we had come in was, do you offer to administer our databases completely and all of the time, or do you offer to share the administration with other DBAs?
It really depends on what the needs are that each customer has. Generally speaking, where the conversation might start with a customer looking for us to assist them, whether it be in off hours or otherwise extended needs that they might have, what we typically see, particularly once we're embedded in the relationship, is that we actually take on the burden entirely of the database engineering and administration side. Now, that doesn't obviously address pieces such as the compute or as the network or the rest of the fabric up to the applications, but at least from a Postgres and a database perspective, our customers are in good hands as we monitor, manage, and maintain to guide their environments into both stability as well as future optimization.
All right, great. Another question that we had come in was, is our DBA service available for people who do not have an EDB subscription?
Absolutely. While we do certainly encourage folks to have a subscription, whether it be with Postgres support or in a more supercharged or powered manner, the standard and enterprise capabilities with our fulsome tool suite, it is not required. We do have customers who are purely in PostgreSQL that we deliver our services to each and every day.
Okay. And we have time for one more question. And that question was, is RDBA version restricted to EPAS or available for community Postgres too?
It is not. So we do deliver it across, whether it be advanced server or, as mentioned in the prior question, our subscriptions or an environment where someone has a purely unfettered or unanchored desire to have us manage what might already be a pre-existing Postgres estate. So our goal is to help power your journey wherever it might be, in whatever manifestation your software might take place.
All righty.
So I would like to remind everyone, or let folks know who may not already be aware, we are actually hosting our Postgres Vision seminar and conference this year. It will be done completely virtual, as you've seen many other companies and entities step forward into the transformation we've seen over the last many months. June 23rd and 24th will be our scheduled overall delivery of the Vision conference. And Molly, I think you were going to drop in the URL into the chat here for folks who are interested or looking to register. It is completely free. We encourage everyone to attend and be part of this, either as just purely attendees or engage with us as we're going through all of the expertise and the topics that we're covering.
All right, yes, exactly right. So I apologize, those were all the time that we had for questions today, but thank you everyone for joining us in the webinar. If the link to register for the conference is not falling in the chat, you will also be able to find it in our follow-up email as well. Thank you for all of the questions. All of the ones that went unanswered, you will again be able to find on the landing page. And we will be sharing the recording and the slides with you as soon as possible. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Kanchana and Dipanshu. And I appreciate everyone's time. Take care.
Thank you.